how to protect your rights during a DUI stop, okay? There are a few that come up, right? You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have a lawyer. If you can't afford one, one will be appointed to you. All of those things, right? Here's one thing that you can't do, right? You can't make the officer call your lawyer on the side of the road, okay? We see that a lot. Hey, officer, I don't know whether I want to consent to this blood test. Why don't you let me call my lawyer? And the cop says, no. And you say, you have to. He doesn't. He's not going to, and he doesn't have to, right? Then people get frustrated and start talking to the cop for themselves, right? Waiving their right to have a lawyer with them, okay? So to preserve your rights, you need to wait to talk to that cop about how your day and your night went until you have your lawyer, which is going to happen after your first appearance and after you get a bond probably, okay? But it's part of the process, and it's part of kind of how the system that we have here in Georgia gets people to waive their right to a lawyer. You can't have them on the scene so people get frustrated and they waive the right, right? They waive that right to have a lawyer with them during any questioning, okay? The other thing is, your communication with law enforcement on the side of the road during a traffic stop should be respectful. It should be minimal as well, however, right? I always provide my name. I always provide my license and my registration. If the cop asks me out of the car, I get out of the car. They're allowed to do that. If you say no, you're going to go to jail. If they give me a speeding ticket, which I've got plenty of, I sign the ticket, because if I don't sign the ticket, I'm probably going to jail. They're allowed to do those things, but you don't have to ramble. And people who are nervous, which you are during a traffic stop, ramble, and they say too much. They say things like, officer, I'm not drunk. I only had 2 beers at the bar, right? And then the prosecutor is going to tell the jury later that, yeah, you only had 2 beers, but they were 36-ounce beers. And people need to stop talking so much during these traffic stops. Other than providing very basic biographic information, the answers to questions should be, officer, am I free to go home? And you don't have to say it in a combative way. You don't want to raise the tension. You don't want to cause a scene or make the officer feel threatened in any way. You want to be respectful, but you also want to know, can I get the heck out of here and back to my family and my home? And if he says no, then he's arresting you, right? And the chances are, if he's got you out of the car and he wants to do field sobriety test and you're asking him if he can go home, he's going to arrest you anyway, whether you do the test or not. And it's going to suck, but we want to preserve our chances to fight that down the road. So keep your mouth shut, don't talk too much, and don't waive your right to a lawyer just because you're in a hurry.